Welcome back to the Renegade Report. I'm your host for the day, your substitute host, Stephen Lynch. Show dedicated to, as Francis Mayer says, the best sports program in the known universe. So, caught up in the hoopla last night of the men's basketball clinching their first outright league title since 1998. The women's basketball team also put on an impressive show and blasted West LA just prior to the men's game. And right now we're going to run a little taped interview that Francis Mayer had with Coach Dahl. So let's take a look at that.
It's not often we get a chance to have Coach Paula Dahl come into the Renegade Report studio because her team is practicing and she's in class. Our instructors and coaches at BC have big jobs. They're required to teach and coach and run their programs. And Coach Dahl, that's something that you do. You do fundraising, you do recruiting. What does it mean to you to run a program?
You know, there's so many factors involved in running a program at this level. And, you know, the biggest thing for me is that we want to run a championship-style program, you know, that our athletes conduct themselves the same way all the time, whether we're running for conference championships or having a difficult year like that we are this year, that we always conduct ourselves the same. And I think that's up to me and how I conduct myself and the things that I'm doing in hopes that my athletes will begin to understand what we're looking for.
Because last year it was easy to have a good attitude, right? We got to cut the net down at the end of last season. But this season we're not having the success we had last year.
Yeah, but
at least on the records table.
But you know, the thing is one of my favorite quotes is that adversity reveals character. And I'm really pleased with the character that these athletes have shown. Anybody's come out and watched us play has seen that we're improving all the time. We don't ever quit. We battle. We're getting everything we can out of every athlete we possibly can. And we got 4 games left, and we're all in. And I talked to him yesterday. I said, we've got 2 weeks left. At this point in time, there are many teams that are done. They're already thinking about next. I said, but true champions don't ever stop. They keep battling, they keep working, they keep doing what they're supposed to do, and we're going to finish strong in these last 2 weeks and make a statement that we can always remember for our rest of our life. I said, you have 2 weeks to do it and a lifetime to think about it. And if you cheat yourself, you'll know. And we are going to play for each other, and we're going to do everything we can to finish as strong as we can.
Well, and they're doing that. I mean, you and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about maybe seeing certain players produce more assists. I'm thinking of like Kennedy Nielsen, and then I look in the next box score, and I think she had 4 or 5 assists.
Yeah, she had 5 the next game.
The very next game.
Yeah. This has been one of the funnest groups I've ever worked with. They are very receptive. They try to do what we ask them to do. They're a nice group of young women, and they accept challenges, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I have thoroughly enjoyed coaching them since we started, and a lot of people are like, I'm sure you're really looking forward to the season ending. I will be sad to not be working with this team as it is come 2 weeks from now.
I feel a tenth of the intensity that you do, obviously, because you're the coach, but like I'm very sad to see Miss Tyler leave. She is one of those people who's shown a ton of growth.
Oh, my heavens. I could not be more proud of Michaela Tyler and what she's done for this team. She's really stepped out of herself and showed just amazing leadership and fortitude and growth, and she's brought this team together. She's got this team communicating. She's not afraid to make demands. She does it in such an amazing way. She gets it done in the classroom. I'm so excited. On March 10th, we'll be up north and celebrating her as an all-academic, all-state student athlete. So she's getting it done in the classroom and on the floor, which makes it so easy to sell her to the next level. We've got a lot of schools looking at her and just really looking forward to see where she's going to sign. And she's done all of this with an ankle that she should have had surgery on last November. And, you know, I showed him a clip the other day that said, real champions fight through pain and realize that pain is temporary. And that has been the epitome of Michaela Tyler night in and night out. As she fights through it, she puts up points, she puts up assists, she puts up steals, she puts up leadership. And And she's easy to sell because I tell coaches you will never find a more quality individual than Michaela Tyler to come play for you.
But you won't, and she has not sold the drama of the injury that she's played with. You have to watch her close, and you'll notice that right when she hits the bench, she takes off her basketball shoes and puts moccasins on. Like the minute the clock ends and you're done saying your piece, obviously. We had some lessons recently on one of the biggest stages in sports in the Super Bowl. There were some players that kind of demonstrated some different kind of character in the game, and those are teaching opportunities. You would have been more upset about the character demonstrated than the loss, right?
Oh, heavens, yes. Like I say, championship programs conduct themselves the same way no matter what. I talk to some of the coaches in our league who say I have a hard time getting kids come to practice. And I share this with my players, and they look at me and go, I don't understand that, coach. That's what you do. There's behaviors that are acceptable and not acceptable. And it doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing. Those behaviors have to be consistently held. And if you look at my team, one of the best compliments I got this year was an official emailed me and said, you talked about how honest your kids are. And she goes, I've never worked with a team that was so polite and so honest during a game. And those are the things that we really want. And that was in a close ball game. And when officials know that they can trust you and trust their kids, it helps when you're looking with calls and everything else that they're not trying to get things that weren't there.
Yeah, they're not trying to pull one over on you.
No.
They're being honest.
And that's just who these kids genuinely are.
Right. Yeah. Looking into next season and talking about recruiting, we have some interesting freshmen who are continuing to develop. Taveldi is a neat athlete. Who else is going to be coming back next year? And not to get ahead of ourselves, but that will be a cool team.
Right now you just never know, but I'm hoping that we'll get everybody back from this year's team. And I expect great things for next year. There's some amazing recruits here in town that I'm communicating with and working with, and one of the things that they should see is it doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing for me. I'm going to give you the same effort as a coach, and if we can get these kids to stay locally, watch out. We will be a serious contender next year, and it's going to be very, very exciting. We'll have the stands filled, and people will be excited to be a Renegade.
And no doubt about it, they should be excited this year. The women's basketball team is another great example of how Bakersfield College fields Kern County All-Star teams. They're the kids you loved watching at the prep level, but now they're up here on the big stage on Panorama Drive. Coach Dahl, thanks for taking time out of your schedule. I know that we hear the sounds of practice down below. I know you need to get to it, but thanks for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you, Francis, and appreciate everything you do.
Thanks. Be well.
That was Francis Mayer, the sports information director here at Bakersfield College, interviewing women's basketball coach Paula Dahl. The women's team will wrap up its season on Saturday at Santa Monica. He mentioned Mackenzie Taveldi in the interview last night. Taveldi had a career high of 29 points and 17 rebounds. So women's basketball team really showing some improvement here as the season winds up. But the men's team got exciting things going on with the men's team. If you're not out there watching them play, you're missing it. Great team with a lot of really talented players, a lot of exciting basketball. Should get a home game for the playoffs, so should come on out to the Gil Bishop Sports Center. We also got some of the spring sports. If you're not aware, baseball and softball have started up, so there's a lot of action going on at Bakersfield College as far as athletics go. You should go out there and take a look. Baseball team's looking good, 5-3. They're on the road this week for a 3-game homestand at Golden West, but they'll be back. So thank you for tuning in today. I'm Stephen Lynch, sitting in, like I said, for Francis Mayer. Thank you for watching the Renegade Report.